Hello and welcome back to Drift. In today's episode, we're going to break free of our home and actually head out into the vast expanse, and we're going to be in search of these new biomes that the sand update has provided. And as you can see here, there's little hints to the types of asteroids we're going to find, and maybe even the little points of interest that we'll find along the way. We've been doing so many things at home, unlocking certain technologies and stuff, that we've kind of neglected the exploration aspect of this game. And with the sand update, there's a whole new world out there to go and find a lot of procedurally generated places. And I'm excited to finally get there and show y'all. So let's get started. So first things first, this is actually episode 9.5 that we're watching right now. I had a little bit of a problem when I named my episodes, and this kind of got lost into the shuffle. And I should have noticed in the last episode when I was complaining about the long-range scanner not working, and kind of showing you that, realizing that I actually haven't even shown you the long-range scanner. I hadn't built it because this was part of that lost footage. So this is the actual building process and me discovering the long-range scanner for the first time and being awestruck with how big it is. I built a room that I thought would be overkill for this, but apparently this is overkill for the room. So yeah, so that is the long-range scanner. As you may have seen from the last episode. But here is our process in building the room for it. And then once we get through the first couple minutes, first 3 or so minutes, we'll get back into the new footage. So here we are, put in a battery pack in the wrong area, but that's okay, we'll discover that later. And then this is the scanner interface, which is wide and cumbersome. I wasn't expecting that either. I was thinking that it was going to fit in between that little space. So I'm going to have to reorganize this room that I built, make it even larger. So now let's put in the long-range scanner. We're going to try to put it against the wall, but without knowing exactly how big it is, we placed it a little closer than that. So that was basically all you really missed from that episode. I'm going to be combining some of these episodes to kind of show you the important parts. So yeah, as one of the users on the Discord pointed out that I can't unsee now, is that this thing looks like a giant steampunk top hat, and I think that's kind of hilarious. They only built their thing one wall high. But anyways, now here we are back in the real time, day 48. And this is in the last episode we built up those walls a little bit, so that's why it looks different now. But here we are, we're putting some batteries into the launch pad. We're just going to take a little look around, see what we have to see all the places we've discovered so far. I don't like the fact that that building is going to be in our way of that location. But we're just going to pass by this orange multi-crystal marker that we have here, and we're going to go in search of the new biome. And I kept this bit completely uncut because I wanted to show you just how quickly we can cover that distance with the launch pad. And that was 3.6 kilometers in 43 seconds. Pretty impressive. Very much like the jump pads. But of course we do lose a little bit of our momentum, so we have to utilize our lasso and slingshot our way forward. And so now already we're starting to see signs of the new biome. These yellowish, orangish, silicon-based asteroids. I don't think all of them are silicon-based, but I do know the big POIs are silicon-based. Speaking of which, there we are. We have spotted our very first one. So these are the new items or locations added in the sand update, as you would imagine. And there's these little structures, these little monuments or ruins around, and I think that's kind of interesting. I wonder if that's going to play a bigger part later. There's going to be some kind of backstory for this place. There's not a lot to do here. These plants I can't pick up. Some plants I can pick up for petals, but for the most part, there's not very much to interact with. We can mine the surface, all this sand. We can mine the sand for silicon, or silicate, excuse me. We're just gliding up, taking a look at that structure. See these little rocks here? Try to mine those, but they don't do anything. See this rock here? Try to mine that. That doesn't do anything either. And although doesn't seem to be much to do here, it is very interesting. It's nice to see new places in this. There's actually been 2 major biome updates since I started playing this game back in the beginning. Yep, nothing to do with those rocks either. And as you see here, we mined the surface a little bit. So now it's time to head off from this one, and we're just gonna hop over to this one over here that we spotted because it looks different. So maybe it might have something else to check out. It's got different kind of trees. It's kind of fun. And it too had a little structure on there, but nothing fancy. And then this, I was a little bit disappointed. I was hoping that I could mine some bones out of this, animal bones, but alas, I cannot. So now we're gonna head back out into the expanse and keep seeing what we can see. And here we are on even another different kind of generated structure. This one has these interesting blue and purple plants. I assume they're plants. They've got enough green in them to be plants. And then here we are, we're finding our very first collectible item on this. And these pink flowers give us pink petals. And then these little shoot looking things give us petals. This doesn't give us anything. But it's interesting the kind of palm trees they have. And moving on, I see this gigantic blue crystal. So of course I want to hit it to see if I can get anything, but nothing of value. Just drifting up, we find some more ruins. Yeah, that's definitely going to be something. So before we go, we're going to leave a little marker here, just in case there's another update where more is to be discovered in this location. We're going to already know where a good area is, because there's a couple of these different islands around, so we can hop to each one. You know, maybe the crystals that we saw end up becoming crystals, or maybe we have a huge need for silicate. We can come out here with some mining drills and just set up shop and just have a crystal making facility. Once we unlock outposts, there's going to be a lot more usages for going to different areas and setting up shop there. So we come back, and it was a different play session, so we're gonna start our cats back up. As you see here, yeah, outposts are gonna be the next thing that we're gonna be able to work towards unlocking. So I'm gathering up the stuff to head out on yet another expedition. And once again, we're going to use the launch pad. But I didn't really want to do that journey in the dark, so I decided to come over here to our respawn pod, and by activating it, it allowed us to sleep through the night. And so now we can journey in full sunlight. So now looking around, trying to see what my options are, and I decided to head off in this direction because I haven't done anything in this direction, so guaranteed to find new things. After much traveling, we're going to cut to here. I ended up finding a cave, a mushroom cave, where I gathered a bunch of mushrooms and some animal meat and bones. But the footage was not usable, and so we just kind of had to skip past it. But along the same trip, this is, you know, just a little bit later down the road, we find this green crystal cave, which is nice. We're not sure exactly what the best usage for green crystals are at the moment, because we still haven't unlocked all the technologies and seen all the different things to use, but it's never hurts to stock up, especially now that we have those big lockers that have, you know, almost twice, maybe more, the storage. Yeah, if you noticed, if you were quick enough to see, there were some mushrooms and plant petals and stuff in my inventory. And with that, we have gone through the cave. I decided not to leave a marker here, to instead save it for another cave, because I still have enough resources to keep going as long as we're going in the direction of home. And of course, in the direction of home, we stumbled across a very large asteroid, and those are usually a good sign. But this one has something curious peeking out of it, and before I know it, I'm face to face with this beast. Thankfully, it's more afraid of me than I am of it, and it slinks off into the unknown. But if we go and check out its home, we find another pink crystal cave with a crystal processing machine. So we are going to drop down that beacon that we decided to save. And I'm glad we decided to save it, because currently we know that pink crystals have a good use, and that is in the advanced crystal batteries. And no matter what, we're going to need those, unless they build a more advanced type, which is also possible, it's potential. But until then, these pink crystals are probably the highest of importance as far as resources go. So I'm glad we were able to spot a new source of them. And we're just gonna go ahead and clear this cave out, and we are going to process a bunch, if not all, of the crystals we find here. And we're just going to speed through this at an alarming pace. This is 1,000 times speed right here. Takes a little bit. There we go. We didn't process all of our crystals, but a good chunk. So now we are now low on batteries. We do have enough to make it, but still should be heading home. We get sidetracked by another multi-crystal thing, and we don't need any crystals. We've got green, we've got pink, but grabbing a couple orange crystals never hurts. Especially since we don't have a source of them. And then, irresponsibly so, I come in way too hot, way too low, and crack my visor. And I get the achievement for doing so. And I was so proud of myself for not having that achievement. I have many of the other ones, but cracking your visor was not one of them. And yeah, I just ruined it. And it was the first time. So disappointed. But nonetheless, I go and I see the emergency air sealant, and I go and work on that. I did, however, not have the footage of me fixing it, but there's the 4 that I made. And then I also made a bunch of worm casserole to stock up and keep that vignetted view at bay. So now this is part of what would have been the next episode, but I decided to keep it in here because there wasn't too much that we focused on, but we did focus on some building, and it was consolidated easily enough to the point where we could just include it in this episode, which is good because we do have quite a bit of footage to get through, and we're probably going to see if we can consolidate some of that, just so that way we can kind of get back to where we're supposed to be at, more recent stuff. Just doing a little asteroid wrangling. Even though we're pretty advanced, we've got a bunch of stuff, it's still fun to just stand out on the porch and wrangle. So here we are, we're building a couple lockers, and this is to store everything in these lockers because we are going to upgrade our storage units. So let's go ahead and put all that in there and just empty all these lockers of their contents and fill these. And this is because I want to build these tall lockers and replace all these short lockers with them. But if I were to do that, then it would cover the crushers, and I don't want that, and I don't have room to put those crushers elsewhere. So we're going to build out this little storage area. It's going to take a couple design iterations, but eventually we settle on it and come up with a unique way to carry our space. So at first I build this little room, and I think yeah, this is gonna be cool. We can just line the walls with them. So we start off with iron, and then we go for silicate. We move it a little too close. There we go. And then we go for carbonite. And then copper. And lastly, some ice. So now we're going to be working on the side ones, but I realized I couldn't put it into the wall because then it would come too close and we would block off the ice locker. So now we're going to do it this way. So we've got microchips, we've got steel, then we've got not enough materials, then we got biological bits, then we have crystals of the first kind, raw crystals, and then charged crystals. So there we go. We're going to delete that wall. In here we're going to put the iron plates, and then the copper wiring, and then we need, of course, more iron plates, so we delete that. And then that is silicon chips. Then that is carbonite, or water. That is water cups, and then glass. So we have now replaced all of our small chests with lockers. And it's going to take a lot more to fill up the lockers on the sides with those stuff, but at least when we need to, we will have the space for it. And then I'm not sure, I feel like it's just a waste here to block off this this side, so I decided to throw little floor doors on there, and maybe I'll put something in here in this little cozy little space back there. Alright, so now it's time to put everything away. There we go. So those are all filled. We can go ahead and get rid of those, but we're gonna work on getting these emptied first. Put all the stuff back in the places at once, and so now that we have room, we can actually organize our crystals as opposed to just shoving them in there all willy-nilly. And we don't have space for our crushed silicate and crushed carbonite yet, so we're just going to store them in this glass locker for now. We're going to delete all these chests, and these chests, and these chests. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put our crushed silicates, our crushed materials right here. Silicate on the right, carbonite on the left, and since this crusher is the one that does that in general, so that'll be a good spot for it. But here it is. Here's our new storage area. It's a little bit different, but it's ours. And then I decided to kind of come up with something to put between this area. I thought, what better than a nice coffee machine? When we're hard at work throughout the late hours of the night, we can, instead of having to go all the way up to our apartment, we can just access some coffee on the go. And I like this little potted plant, and I feel like it would be a nice addition to the coffee area. Bring some liveliness, bring some beauty to it. So we're going to go ahead and place it here. There we go. Lovely. I'm liking these decorations. But anyways, that is about the end of this episode. We got quite a bit done. Part of that being the fact that it's actually multiple episodes smashed together. But in the next coming episodes, we might do some of that too. Just kind of show you the more important stuff. The things that we build rather than exactly how we build it. Moving items around through our inventories and back and forth and whatnot. Man, our base is starting to look crazy. It's starting to get big. I'm excited. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you're looking forward to more Drift. If you did, please consider giving me a like, drop me a comment, let me know your thoughts, and I will see y'all in the next one. Take care.